Hello, I'm Phyllis Paisley, the Executive Director of the Missouri Alliance for Arts Education, and I'm so glad to be a part of STAM's mini conferences. Today, I'm happy to share with you something called the Mo You Know, as in the Missouri that you know, leveraging the unique features and characteristics of your Missouri town, utilizing arts education to impact students and their learning. MAAE and STAM have had a long relationship with each other. They are a member of the Missouri Alliance for Arts Education, and we are so thrilled to continue that relationship. Anytime that you can involve the arts, it's just an opportunity to celebrate the past, honor the present, and look forward to the future. On August 10th, 1821, Missouri did become the 24th state. So as we approach August of 2021, we are celebrating the 200th anniversary, the bicentennial of Missouri. And MAAE entered into a partnership with the Bicentennial Alliance. We became a part of that group, and we learned about the Missouri Community Legacies Project. Michael Sweeney, who is the coordinator for the Bicentennial, has a few tidbits that he can share with us about the Missouri Legacies Project. Michael, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Phyllis. I appreciate this opportunity to talk a little bit about some of the opportunities that are out there for people to get engaged.
Great. Well, what can you tell us about the Missouri Community Legacies Project?
So we're trying to figure out ways and opportunities for local communities to articulate who they are, what they're about, and to find ways to share those and hopefully look not necessarily at sameness, but to think about points of shared somethingness, right? Those things that sort of unite us together, but also kind of maintain all those unique things that make all of our communities different. And so this is one of those projects. Missouri Community Legacies in particular was kind of designed around this idea of thinking about the traditions, meaningful places, institutions and organizations that make our communities vibrant and interesting and unique places. Sometimes those things are really representative of the community. Sometimes they're really unique aspects of the community with a little more substance behind them, right? So Missouri Community Legacies involve people basically finding ways to share. It's providing a way for people to share information about those things that make their community unique. And the outcome of that is kind of a 3 to 5 page, I always say book report style paper, some photographs, and any other things that might help illustrate either the tradition or the place or the institution or whatnot. And that could be maybe a poster, maybe it's a map, maybe it is a souvenir flyer, maybe it is a poster or something else that illustrates the thing.
Notice you mentioned mostly two-dimensional kinds of artwork. Would video or something like that be?
Yes. Oh, great question. Yes, oral histories, video. There's all kinds of ways of sort of getting at that information.
How would you recommend someone get started if they were interested in taking part?
Sure. Okay. So Missouri Community Legacy Project has to be a tradition of some sort. It can be a meaningful place or institution or organization. So the other important piece is it has to be contemporary, existent, ongoing, right? So it's a part of life right now. It may be a historic building, but it's got to be a historic building that is still there and standing that people walk by and see today. But maybe it's just asking the question, does your community have a yearly festival? Almost every community does. Whether it is apple butter making days down in Mount Vernon, maybe it is Pershing Days up in Laclede, Missouri. Almost every community has a yearly festival, so that would qualify for this. Maybe a local legend. Good example would be if you're from Marshall, Missouri, Jim the Wonder Dog, right? The story of the dog that could magically pick Kentucky Derby winners. Is there a place? Is there a place that your community treasures? Maybe it is a city square. Maybe it is a public park. Right, and you can start asking then questions about all these things. How is this park used? Has it always been used this exact way? How did this park come to be? What happens over the course of a year in the park? Right, all kinds of questions about these places and traditions and whatnot. This provides an opportunity to think about some of that. What makes home home? And why is it something we should protect and take care of and continue to cultivate? Um, these things that we do that are just part of community are the things that help us feel grounded and connected across time. Um, and that's just kind of important for, I think, our well-being in the world. It makes us better. It makes it easier, I think, sometimes to solve difficult problems when it helps us to agree without being disagreeable when we recognize that we actually share quite a lot, right? Bicentennials and things like it. We could be doing this work anytime, right? The thing about bicentennials is it provides us an occasion, provides us a reason to do some stuff we should be doing anyway.
I was taking a look through the resources on your website and was frankly stunned that there was so much there that I did not know about. And I also noticed that there was a toolkit to
Yeah.
help people get started. Can you
Right.
talk a little bit about that toolkit, please?
Sure. So we built, the toolkit to kind of help guide people through this process. So it certainly spells out the procedure. So here are the practical things you have to do, right? A complete version of this includes this paper. It includes this many photographs. It includes filling out this piece of paper and whatnot. But also that guide is there. The toolkit is there to help you sort of think through some questions, right? And to think through a process a little bit, right? If you've asked some good questions, then where do you go about doing the research? How do you go about coming to good answers to some of those things? So that that toolkit is kind of there to help guide people through this process.
Well, I know I had a lot of fun kind of crawling through the archives a little bit, and I hope that many of our listeners will do the same thing. Michael, thank you so much for
No,
spending
thank you, Phyllis.
today.
I appreciate the opportunity to share about the project and the program. If there are any questions, you can please refer people to me, and I hope that people can get excited about, like I said, engaging in their communities.
I do too. Thank you again. So, when you think about the wonderful places that we have all across the state of Missouri, you think about the wonderful people that are a part of our past and a part of our present. You think about all of the wonderful contributions to Missouri that certain individuals have made. They might be famous individuals, like some that are appearing on the screen here, or they might be just a local member of your community that has a special story to share. How wonderful would it be if your students captured those stories and helped tell the story of the Mo that they have come to know? Even in a time of social distancing, your students could tell their stories using theater, puppets, a video blog, a podcast. Learning about place based education helped me know about something that was in my own backyard. This Litzinger Road Ecology Center helps people learn to map their community. The why, it helps place themselves on the map, helps students build a sense of place in their world, and places local issues on the map. Um, it's a natural way to facilitate student voice and student choice at the same time that they're designing relevant and authentic learning. And they have tutorials on their website that help you know how to do that kind of mapping. And such fertile soil for creative contributions, all in a way of understanding their regions, history, their present, and looking toward the future. There is just one more thing I'd like to share with you about place oriented education, and it is an idea that comes from my predecessor here at MAAE, Ben Martin, who was a speech and theater teacher in Lee's Summit, Missouri. And he wrote a play in 2012 with a concept of taking theater on the road. Instead of having the audience members be present inside the theater building, they actually went onto the streets and they kept their cell phones with them and got text messages when they needed to advance to the next station. Let me read to you just a moment of something that he said in this. The trick is the audience is required to keep their cell phones on. That's the way they know to go to the next scene location, and they receive a text from the organizers telling them when that will be. Because of space limitations on sidewalks and in stores, audiences had to be small. And in a time of social distancing, audiences have to be small anyway. The cool thing is these are also outside. He's also written a school version that allows you to do the same sort of thing and adapt it to your building if you're working in person. So I will have within the document that accompanies this webinar a link for more information, and you can reach out to Ben to learn more about the cellular scenes and how you might adapt that to not only look at developing theater, but also honoring the place from which you come, and maybe even have it turn into part of the Missouri Legacies Project. So I hope you will consider the concept of place in working with students, also helping to celebrate Missouri's bicentennial. Thank you very much today. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at director@moaae.org, or you can check our website, www.moaae.org. Thanks, everybody. I hope you have a great rest of your fall and a great rest of your school year, too. Thank you for tuning in today.